Once upon a time, behind the grand walls of royal palaces, there were not only titles and grand ceremonies but real secrets that have yet to be uncovered. The life of the British royal family is not just a symbol of power but an entire world where every door hides a story full of intrigue, traditions, and quirky habits. Today, we will reveal 30 of the most shocking secrets you never suspected. Are you ready to discover the hidden truth? Subscribe so you don't miss the most interesting details. The Queen's breakfast. Soft light filters into the dining room where everything looks flawless: silver plates, steaming tea, and perfectly toasted bread. The Queen always started her day with this ritual, which was part of her personal life. For her, it was not just the beginning of the day but a moment of peace and solitude where she could focus on herself for a few minutes. These small moments of relaxation were vital, as royal life is an endless series of official meetings and state affairs. The secret of the gifts. The Queen receives an incredible number of gifts every year. They come from ambassadors, aristocrats, and ordinary people who want to show their loyalty and respect. However, what's interesting is that most of these gifts are never opened in public. The Queen keeps them as reminders of the great respect she commands, but prefers to leave them untouched, creating an air of mystery around the monarchy. The strict calendar. The royal calendar was not just a schedule, but a system. Every day the Queen followed a meticulously planned timetable, balancing duties with personal moments. It was not just a calendar, but an embodiment of discipline and responsibility she bore for her kingdom. Every change in the schedule could impact public and diplomatic relations, so planning was an essential part of her life. Evening service. When the day came to a close and the palace plunged into silence, the Queen often spent her time on important state matters. Despite the exhaustion from numerous meetings, she would continue to work. These moments, when she would dive into documents, write letters, and make crucial decisions, were vital. The quiet of the evening allowed her to reflect and strategize for the future. The royal kitchen. The royal kitchen was a true art form, and every meal was more than just food. The selection of ingredients was incredibly strict, with each item chosen for its quality and adherence to tradition. The chefs working in the palace ensured that every dish was prepared perfectly, not only to satisfy the Queen's tastes but to reflect the grandeur of the royal family. It wasn't just about the food, it was a symbol of respect for her elevated status. The secret of the Queen's clothes. The Queen's wardrobe was always carefully thought out. These clothes didn't just follow fashion but also reflected important historical events and conveyed symbolism. For instance, the color and fabric of a costume could speak volumes about her mood or her views on current affairs. Every outfit was chosen with great attention to detail to reflect her role as the monarch. Her habits with the children. The Queen always paid close attention to raising her children, but her approach was very strict. She believed that discipline and self-sufficiency were vital qualities for future monarchs. From a young age, her children learned to make decisions and take responsibility. Although she maintained strict control, her love for her children was deep and genuine. Tea in the royal household. Tea was an inseparable part of British culture, and for the royal family, it was a moment of unity and tradition. The Queen's tea time was always special, symbolizing not only calm but also a chance to discuss important matters with close family. These moments of tea drinking became an essential part of her day when even the most crucial affairs could take a break for this peaceful ritual. Palace pets. Royal pets were always more than just animals, they were family members. The Queen was particularly fond of her dogs, especially the corgis, which she often took on walks around the palace. These pets became symbols of care and affection, and their presence in the royal family's life represented the importance of personal bonds. Despite her official duties, the Queen remained loyal to her furry companions. Letters and messages. For the Queen, letters were not just a means of communication. They were an essential way of maintaining contact with the people and other world leaders. Every envelope she opened was an important moment filled with meaning. These letters weren't only formal but personal, expressing care and respect for those who reached out to her. Royal holidays. Royal holidays were always momentous occasions for the entire nation. But for the royal family, these days weren't just about festivities. Every holiday was carefully planned to reflect not only personal preferences but historical traditions. It was a time to strengthen bonds with the people and showcase a commitment to British values. The Queen's bath secret. The Queen's bath was not just a place to relax. It was a sanctuary where she could unwind and recharge for the upcoming day. The water had to be at a precise temperature, and special aromatic oils were used to create an atmosphere of privacy and tranquility. This moment of solitude was as important as any other aspect of her life and helped restore her mental equilibrium. The palace's personal secrets. The palace was full of secrets that most people would never have guessed. Behind the beautiful facades, there were many stories that never reached the public eye. Some aspects of the royal family's life remained entirely personal, protected from the curious gaze of outsiders. Rest routine. The Queen always adhered to a strict routine, but despite her duties, she knew when to stop and rest. This routine wasn't unbearable for her, rather, it was a way to maintain balance in her life. Walks in the park or reading books helped her relax and preserve the mental clarity needed for her work. These moments of rest were as vital as any other royal task. The secret of royal dinners. Dinners in the royal family were not just family meals. Every dinner was carefully prepared to meet not only the Queen's tastes but also historical traditions. Every element of the meal was symbolically important, and every meal became part of the larger picture of royal image. It was not just about the food but about presenting an image of regality and respect. Special attitude to fashion. The Queen was known for her conservative approach to fashion, but in her outfits, there were always subtle hints of her inner feelings and views on ongoing events. Fashion for her wasn't just entertainment, it was a way of expressing her position. The Queen used clothing as a statement of values, reflecting the times and her personal beliefs through every garment she wore. The secrets of royal visits. Every royal visit to another country was carefully prepared and filled with meaning. This wasn't just a political trip but a cultural act, demonstrating respect for another nation. Each visit became an important step in strengthening Britain's international position, and the Queen's presence often carried symbolic significance for diplomacy. Evenings with music. The Queen loved music, especially classical pieces. Evenings filled with music were an important time for reflection and relaxation. These moments allowed her to find harmony amid the busyness of the day and strengthen her connection to the cultural heritage of Britain. Music helped her maintain the sense of peace needed for her demanding role. The Queen's role in art. The Queen always supported British art and creative individuals. She visited exhibitions and held private meetings with artists, helping to foster the development of the nation's cultural life. Her love for art wasn't just a personal hobby but part of her role as a symbol of national pride and support for creativity. Royal ceremonies. Royal ceremonies were always filled with significance. Every event, from coronations to simple receptions, became an important part of the public consciousness. These ceremonies reflected not just the status of the monarchs but the historical importance of each tradition, reinforcing the continuity of the monarchy. Secret late-night meetings. When the night fell and the palace grew quiet, the Queen often continued her work. Her late-night meetings weren't just about discussing state affairs but moments of deep contemplation. During these sessions, she would make the most critical decisions that affected not only her country but the global political landscape. These hours became an essential part of her reign, as it was during the late hours, when most people were resting, that she felt the full weight of her responsibility. The Queen's fashion accessories. Every accessory the Queen wore was carefully selected. Diamonds, feathers, rare pearls, they were not just decorations but signs of her status. What's truly fascinating is that each piece of jewelry had its own story. The necklaces and brooches she wore were often family heirlooms passed down through generations, with each accessory symbolizing her connection to her ancestors. The secret of the Queen's watches. The Queen's watches were always under scrutiny, but few knew their true significance. They weren't just accessories to tell the time but important symbols of her reign. The Queen often wore watches tied to significant historical moments, and these timepieces became metaphors for her eternal commitment to time and tradition. The Queen's private space. Despite her high status, the Queen always carved out time for herself. Her private space was sacred, and she cherished moments of solitude when she could simply be herself. In her room, she often wrote letters, read books, or just rested. This space was her refuge, where she could shed the burdens of monarchy and rejuvenate herself for the responsibilities ahead. Memorable moments from royal travels. The Queen undertook many journeys, and each one left an imprint on her life. Some trips were landmark events, not just for her but for all of Britain. Each journey was not just an official visit but also a personal moment for the Queen to feel the spirit of other cultures and peoples. These moments often influenced her decisions, as they allowed her to strengthen diplomatic ties and forge personal relationships with foreign leaders. The royal etiquette secrets. Royal etiquette was not just a set of rules, but a system where every detail mattered. The positions of servants, the seating order at dinners, even the way people entered the room, Everything was dictated by strict tradition. The Queen and her family always followed these rules, as they were vital to maintaining the monarchy's dignity and respect in the eyes of the public. Etiquette wasn't just for appearances, it also created internal harmony within the royal family. The Queen's flower garden. Britain is known for its green gardens, and the Queen had her own private corners she particularly cherished. These gardens were not only beautiful but filled with symbolism. Every bush and tree had its own history and meaning. The Queen often walked through these gardens in solitude, enjoying the peace they provided and reflecting on her reign and country. Family conversations in the evening. After a long day of work, the Queen often held evening conversations with her close family. These moments were an important source of support and strength for her. Over tea or dinner, she would discuss the events of the day with her children and spouse, exchanging thoughts and feelings. These moments helped to bring the family closer, providing them with the inner strength and cohesion needed for their roles. Life beyond publicity. Many people don't know what the Queen's life was like outside of public duties. In reality, even in her personal life, she remained a symbol of stability and dedication to her people. Everything that happened in her life was filled with respect for tradition and the people she served. But what truly amazed people was her ability to keep her emotions and feelings hidden, keeping her private moments away from the public eye. Now that we've uncovered 30 of the most surprising and shocking secrets from the British royal family's everyday life, what do you think? Which secret surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more about the lives of royal figures. Who knows what other secrets we'll uncover in the next video?